The
This
earth.
conference will now be recorded.
I think he's just pretty busy.
Oh,
So yeah, as far as the influencers go, and I just told Grant again and reiterated, and he totally agrees that we shouldn't ever do any kind of affiliate program where people get some sort of compensation every time they recommend someone to buy a laser or any kind of stuff like that.
nope.
We've never been for that. And that's one of the things I think that sets us apart is we don't need the smoke and mirrors and the gimmicky feel because nothing about us is gimmicky. Our machines produce 10% over the rated power. We don't make a big deal about that. That's not on some big neon sign going, our lasers are 10% more powerful than so and so's. We don't have to do that. So that's just kind of the way we roll. And I like it that way. I told him I might have to quit if they start doing that, you know. So I'm glad that we take a different road. So it's funny to see, and everybody's got their own business model that works for widgets and glow forges and stuff like that. But it just doesn't seem, all that great to me. Oh, okay. Jim popped the link up in there. Let me see. Um, so have you guys happened? Has anyone seen in the menu? Oh, I see. Got it flipped up there on the edge. Yeah, now they'll probably need a new ribbon cable because the gantry slid to the front because they tipped it up on the side. But I don't know. I think she's just proud to get that machine, and that's a segue to a lot of people getting into the
That
laser
is.
business hardcore. So I don't fault Glowforge on their marketing. They make a whole lot of Thunder end users uh, out of their stuff, and some people make a good living with Glowforges, and that's all right. So
Yeah, once people got sick and tired of having third, fourth, fifth replacements, they always end up. Seems like they end up over at the Thunder, anyways.
yeah, so um, the what I was asking if you've seen is the head-mounted camera calibration selection in the Laser Tools menu. Have you happened to see that? Okay.
Mm-mm.
If anyone sees that, don't click it. I made an article about it. The head mount camera is going to work a lot like that Ruidas vision system that's like $1,500, where you have to replace the controller and add that big old camera to the head that's bigger than the head, and all of that stuff. Um, let me just pull it up real quick since we're talking about it.
I think I might have seen it, but I have not.
Go
I
to
haven't even actually
pull,
been on the laser 2 weeks because of other stuff.
yeah. So let me see if I can share. I'm sure I'll share the wrong one. Let's see. I got 5 running. 5. I'm supposed to have 6. That one, clean screen. Let's see if that works. So there's a place in the menu on I know at least 1.1.04, and it's right here with the other stuff under laser tools, and it's align head mounted camera. When you click that, you will actually go through an alignment process, but it's not going to be what you think it is because the head mount camera, this is what I was talking about. That's the Ruida vision system where you have to have a special controller and this big huge camera that mounts on the head, um, and it looks for registration marks basically. So and that's kind of what this one does because it mounts on the head like that, one of those little $25 $30 endoscopic cameras, USB cams you can get on Amazon, is all it takes.
Hmm.
And it actually rides on the head, and it'll register. It'll be able to understand registration marks. There's the one that I got. It's $15 for the camera, so it's going to be a game changer. But it's not all working right now. So if you accidentally, we've had at least one case, I think two, where somebody clicked to calibrate their camera, their Thunder cam, and they clicked that head mount camera and once you do that it locks up for the time being. It's fixed in the next release, but you have to go into the prefs file and change a setting in there. But anyway, there's an article about it. It's coming. This feature is not fully out yet, but we are getting some instances where people are clicking the other alignment thing and it locks up the camera, so when you click to update the overlay your head moves around basically. So that's some of the anomalies because it's made to do differently, uh, the way that works. But it's pretty neat. As soon as it's all implemented, I'll show how it works. But I think it's kind of like print and cut, but it visually goes out and finds the registration marks. You don't have to move the laser head to them, and say, "Here's my point." The camera finds them, because you got a lot more resolution, a lot more accuracy when the camera is that close to the work surface. So that'll be a neat thing. So there's that. All right, I burn up 4 minutes. I'm doing good.
Do you have any of those digital pressure gauges?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No. I had thought one time about ordering a bunch more, because I got a batch of them last time, but I kind of did that personally. It wasn't really a Thunder thing. But again, I don't want to be an auto part. I don't want to be an AutoZone for these things. I
Which
like
one was it? Which one was it you got that actually worked?
the IS. Hang on, let me kick this back on here. See if this will go back to the same place. I think it will. It was the pressure monitor, the IS E30A. I've got a link to it. I think right here. I'll put this in the chat. That's directly from SMC, but that's the model number, and I'll throw it over in the chat. Actually, I'll throw this article over in the chat so you'll have it.
It's just gotten to the point a couple times I wish I would have had more of a
A
accurate.
repeatable way to do it. Yeah,
It's not only that, but I think too when you start getting into more acrylics, I think it becomes more relevant.
yeah. The
Uh,
acrylics are way more touchy because you're always riding that fine line between making a fire and not.
yeah, and I think of the acrylics, I think that's when the air becomes more of a, from what I'm seeing, becomes more of a issue of
Yeah,
having a consistency of airflow.
yeah, yeah. Too much air, it'll solidify too fast and create a jagged, fractured place for the air to go down, and then it gets better toward the bottom because it dissipates. Uh, but yeah, air's a big deal. That's one thing. If I can ever get Odin plumbed correctly for the exhaust, I want to cut some acrylics with Odin and see if having the air introduced at a 45-degree angle to the, you know, axis of the laser will cause any problems, you know, on cutting. So, because the heads are made a little bit differently. But yeah, that's the switch.
Yeah, my
Um,
only new exciting tool was my chair that I got. I got tired of my other chair. It was just not comfortable for sitting on the computer, so I went and bought a new computer chair.
hmm You can find some really really high dollar ones. Some of those are a couple $1,000s. Those ergonomic ones that you won't get blood clots even if you sit in them for 26 hours, or one of those deals.
I like this one because it's got the 45 angle swinging arm, so you can kick it up to get out. And
Yeah,
I really didn't care about the headrest, but it has a headrest with it. And I got one
yeah.
of the mesh ones this time instead of the solid ones, just for cooling purposes.
Breathability. Yeah.
Yeah,
So cool. I haven't tried one of the mesh ones. It
it's
seems like a solid idea though.
it's my first one, but it's so far sitting in it as hot as it is in here because I don't like having the AC on.
hmm
I was sitting in my other chair earlier, and just the whole heat because it's leather. And I was just like, I sat in this thing. I'm like, holy mackerel!
Yeah,
It's huge game changer sitting in one of these.
I imagine. So, have you noticed that and never in the history of Thunder Laser since I've known about it, we've always been pre-order. They order X amount of machines, and if people get them, that's kind of the way it works. We don't wait until someone says, "I want this machine to put in the order." We're starting to catch up, and we're having machines in stock.
Yeah, seeing
So
these
we're looking at
inside.
2, 3, 4 weeks, and 3 weeks probably, in most cases, as
And that's
opposed to,
huge,
yeah.
actually.
Oh man, that is so huge. So I'm really excited about that, because if we can put out machines that fast, you know, we can put them out faster than those other guys have to yank the harnesses out of theirs and put the good ones in it. and
It's
get
just
it
not
all
only
put back together and buttoned up, you know?
it's not only that, it's just having them stateside before shit goes crazy
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. So yeah, having that buffer will help a lot. And I don't think Thunder China is up to their full production that they projected that they would be able to hit for us this year, which was
No,
almost a threefold increase.
because they were shut down again.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Before the shutdown started again, it's just better have stuff stateside.
So but yeah, we're they're pushing right along, and that increase in output, there hasn't been a significant uptick in meantime between failures, the failure rates on the stuff, because there for a while we can see that stuff, we can see it trend, like we had a bad batch of power connectors on the back of some chillers. You remember that was a thing, and we probably sent out 50, maybe 60, maybe 70 retro kits, repair kits for that, and that was about it. So they're never, they're big to me because, oh gosh, that was 60 malfunctioning ones, but when you look into the grand scheme of things, that was out of what, 6,000 machines, or 8,000 or 10,000 machines. I don't know what the numbers
It's
are
pretty
on
much
them, globally.
the only snafu next to the power cords when they did the switch of the NEMA cords.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was the only other snafu, which that was just a oops, we stuck the wrong ones in the box.
yeah, and that was right when we changed everything. So we changed the format and keyed those plugs because we were having people plug in the Nova 3580s into a 15 amp outlet, and pulling so much current that it's not good to pull
Yeah.
through that thing.
Not good to be
So
plugging in that, especially when you're pulling 15 amps and they're not people ain't running dedicated
yeah,
like they
and
should.
and of course that was before we went to the inline fans because those pull a significantly less amount of current, than those centrifugal cap start motors did in those other
Yeah.
fans. So
Yeah, anything that's got a cap start in it is pulls high amperage on startup.
yeah. It spools up fast though. When on those
Oh yeah.
centrifugal fans, you never heard anybody say it's taking a minute for this thing to come on because it's just gone.
Click,
As soon as
run.
yeah, yeah. So,
But the inlines are so much better and so much quieter and
hmm and typically, the spool up time is minimal. You know,
if you're just
um,
patient, I think a lot of it's just people are impatient.
so
Just get into a work routine and you know that it's going to take a second to spool up. Give it that second to spool up.
yeah. Well, I like to leave the lid open idea. That's what I usually do now. Is just send it over and let it fail because the door's open, but the fan stays running. Then you just lower the lid and hit OK, and you're going. And
Yeah.
your fan's spooled up, because by the time I take 3 steps over there to get in front and center of it, it's probably spooled up already. So
Now I got an Infinity on mine, so I just got the switch. I didn't even plug it in. I just got the switch sitting right next to the
hmm
controller. So heck, half the time I'm using that thing for shop exhaust, anyways.
yeah, just leave it running.
I
Yeah.
just turn it on and pull air out of the shop, anyways.
Well, yeah, I used my Thunder for a paint booth, those few times that I painted using that same principle.
It does work
So,
because it pulls air through there, and if you got a painted surface, just lay it on the bed and let that air pull through there. It does
yeah.
have a tendency of.
So, of
My
course,
only
you got to keep it clean though. If you have a bunch of particulates and dust and stuff in there, it might make it get on your painted surface. But,
there is that. My only concerns are, and I've not pushed the limits, is like right now I'm in a massive strip job, so my shop is, let's say, if you want to get high, stand out my shop for 5 minutes. Of running the laser during that type of fume issues, of just having that fire, just that
you talking about
the
the
laser
VOCs,
firing. Yeah, the
yeah,
VS. Yeah,
the,
I
the acceptable limits.
yeah, of not
Yeah,
knowing if I'm going to have a combustible issue
yeah. Well, the
between.
best way to test that is to stand in the middle of the structure and light your lighter. And if everything is still there, then you know that you're good to go ahead
I
and
have
fire up the laser.
actually, I've actually seen a paint booth go up. It's not pretty.
Fuel air explosions usually are not ever pretty. No.
No, one of the shop that I used to run, one of his friends. had that issue happen. It pretty much leveled everything in the shop. I mean, it didn't catch everything on fire because the fire actually blew itself out because it was just a massive air
Hmm.
explosion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it knocked windows out. It knocked,
Kind of like making an oxyacetylene balloon.
yeah, basically,
I mean,
except
if
to
if
the
if that
extreme.
were a, if that were a thing, I mean.
Yeah, if those actually existed.
So, all right. Well, if
Those,
anybody has any questions, like I said, feel free to jump in. Uh, we've just been kind of catching up. I've been away a little bit, so
yeah, it's like I'm actually up on episodes more than you are now. I've
yeah,
actually
you are.
my attendance levels. That's that shows you what kind of a life I have.
So yeah, but Texas was awesome. So
Oh, how
the
did your graduation go?
graduation
Your birthday. Was it a birthday last week or graduation?
birthday. Oh well, my daughter graduated college. That's the only super event. And then my grandson rather's birthday
That's
was
what it was last week.
Tuesday. Yeah.
You
So
guys was going to a party or something last week, I thought.
yeah, yeah. I think that was for my grandson's stuff. So anywho, um, I don't know anything else. So if anybody's got anything, swing away. I was hoping that Chris might pop in. He said that he might, but it was kind of short notice for him today, being his first day and all. I was gonna put him on the spot. He's used to be doing that. So
Yeah, Travis didn't even respond to me last night. I said, "So we're going to be graced with your presence tomorrow," and he never responded to me last night.
yeah, I
Because
think
usually
he's
he's slammed. Usually him and I are texting like, well, it's like 9 o'clock his time, but it's like 1, 2 o'clock my time, our time. So that's
mhm.
when Gillingham and I are talking, and he didn't even respond last night, which was rare. So I mean, he
Probably,
must be absolutely slammed.
yeah, and exhausted. So um, nothing else new that I know of, except we're starting to get some auroras placed out there now. So and still anxiously awaiting the Lightburn release for the fiber because that
That
is gold.
should be coming in the next 30 days, according to their um, quarterly release that they said that they was going to do, which would
Mhm.
theoretically put it within the next 34 days.
Well, we've got Thundercams prototypes made for the Auroras, and I've got one mounted. But I sent Chris Myers. There's two Chris's.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
So,
create different names.
well, Chris Lacazio said that he's good with Loco. We can call him Loco. So, all right, I'll call him Loco. But Chris Myers does he's got some 3D printed mounts that he's made for the Aurora because the lens is offset a little bit from where the rest of the mast is, where it goes back. Um, so he's made a mount that goes around and clamps to the Aurora. Uh, and we've got some smaller cameras in a smaller footprint, smaller format package than the regular Lightburn cameras, so that they're not so bulky. So since they're closer, so we're going to test those out. I've been using the camera on the Aurora that I've got for a while anyway, but not with his mount. So we're going to test those and maybe send them to a person or two, and we'll have those ready for whenever they release. We'll probably have our cameras ready for the Fiber Lightburn release before they have the Fiber Lightburn released.
Yeah, I seen that Cofield's getting one.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I forget who. I don't know where he's getting his from. It's not a Thunder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It awoke from the dead. We were just talking about you.
How bad,
Ah,
I hope.
yep.
It
I
was
told him.
horrible.
Yeah, I told him. I says I think he's in a pit of hell.
Oh man, it's been so insanely busy. It's nuts.
It's a good problem to have.
It is and it's not all at the same time. I'm short staffed by 2 full-time employees right now.
Ah,
Did you make your?
so
Oh,
that's stifling your growth then, because you're ready to bust at the seams, I bet again. Did you just move to a new place, a big place, not too long ago?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, about a year ago, we moved up. Now we've got 8,500 feet.
nice. You just need some people to put in there and breathe some of that air with you.
Yep. Just bought a new printer yesterday. So
Yeah,
Did you
hopefully
get it?
that'll be up here in 3-4 weeks.
like a UV printer.
No. So our current DTF printer can't keep up with our what we have coming in, and so I had to buy it's kind of a custom
Monster.
built DTF line printer. So
Is that the one
Gotcha.
you showed me pictures of?
maybe
Gray, huge.
it's huge. It's 12 foot long and 6.5 feet wide.
I think that was one you sent me a picture of. I was
So
like, holy shit.
yeah,
So did you?
it's big. Runs twin 20 amp 220s.
Wow.
So draws a little bit of power.
So I guess you're negotiating with your co-op on a better electric rate. Are you pulling that much power that you can do that?
No, not even close.
No, he's going to be the reason for the brownouts on the West Coast. Yeah, they're predicting for some massive brownouts this year on the
Well, you've heard what
Midwest
they're
and West.
doing as far as the giant water tunnel from the ocean into Lake Mead at the Hoover Dam.
No, I haven't heard this one. Oh, this ought to be good.
Yeah, they're doing a gigantic underground tunnel to feed ocean water in to refill Lake Mead because it's drying out. And so it's going to turn it into salt water. And then they're putting in the world's largest desalinization plant that will actually remove, what was it? It was like 20,000 tons of salt a day out of the water.
Jesus, Carmody. Well, they're showing out a shortage on salt.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
The salt mines will just go to nothing.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
So did you make your Friday deadline?
Some of them yes, some of them no.
That was I showed that to Lori and I said that's only half, and she was like, "What?" I'm like, yeah.
Dude, it's that room still looks like that. We've still just got pallets of freight waiting to get logoed up.
That's
So
insane.
just trying to get through it as quick as we can.
I keep telling her we need to move up there, and she keeps telling me no way in hell.
Why? It's almost 70 outside and sunny today.
It's the other half that she doesn't like.
It's only for 6 months.
Yeah. Travis, I don't think you're on here when I told them, but you remember Chris Lacazio? He did a couple things with us, in the past.
Okay.
He's coming on kind of semi-part full-time, like officially, to help with tech stuff and samples and probably do some videos and maybe some photo stuff and things like that too.
Okay.
So, because he and Alicia kind of teamed up and made yet another laser group, the Laser Lounge or whatnot. But I think that they were kind of migrating away from House of Lasers and Hustle and Burn, respectively, and combining forces in that Laser Lounge group. So if you see any buzz about it, it's legit. It's not just another spinoff.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look it up really quick.
Yes, and they did that. Wow, they did that the Friday after you guys got back, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they were collaborating, during our session down in Texas. So
From what I gathered.
a little bit. So yeah,
Weirdly,
things are constantly evolve. So,
oddly, Tommy's been quiet and hidden. Oh,
You've been quiet.
she did away with him. Oh,
He was buried out back.
We had a client here, so
gotcha. So, um,
Yeah, we
All
actually
right,
behaved ourselves really well last week.
you
Amazingly.
did.
Yes.
That's okay. So you know me. I might not even look at any of that. I might just go, oh, that's from that week. Post it. Oh, from that
Yeah,
week. Post it.
it's
So,
probably a good thing that you personally don't look at it. It's a good one, but you just might not want to look at it.
oh, you just say that so I'll watch the entire thing, and then there will be nothing.
We were talking about your blistered knees.
Oh yeah,
What?
Who-
I'd
I
love to
did.
hear more about that, but I'll be right back.
I did have blistered knees. But how did you know?
No, it's the discussion went. You forget you and I and Chris talked before the whole thing started,
Oh yeah,
and it sort of
that's
got
right.
twisted inadvertently.
So
You, Grant, and blistered knees, basically.
yeah, yeah. No, that was a good time though. I just didn't apply the sunscreen. My wife was like, I told you I had some sunscreen for you. I was like, we had plenty of sunscreen. She's like, you just didn't put it on, did you? I'm like, no, be okay. I always burn the first time anyway, and then
Yeah,
it's okay after that. So, um, so yeah, I don't have anything at all set. Uh, I guess we'll have to go to the manual again. Maybe we'll just do the Odin manual this time, so it'll be like foreign to most people.
actually, what we had talked about last week is going over some of the features in Lightburn that are especially the newer ones, and I think we actually hit one of them or a couple of them. Chris did. I said it's something we should probably do each week is going over some
Hmm.
of the lesser known options or availability things inside of Lightburn. And since you guys are the beta testers, you guys can show us some of
Yeah.
the things that are less known.
And that'll be another thing that'll be perfect for Chris because he's constantly in there playing with that stuff. The Chris's play with that stuff. I don't play with that stuff. Like
Yeah.
they have the material test sheet in there now, and when I do, and I need to learn it, but when I do a training, I end up going to one of the pre-made ones because I haven't run through that one enough to be proficient enough. I feel like to be able to present it. You know what I mean? So there's some features in there I have no idea. You know, truly in depth how they work. You know, technically I do, but not practically. So
I think
that's something
yeah,
I need to check out too.
I think it was actually Jeremy. It's because I think or I think it might have been Jeremy, and we were going over stuff last week. They was showing Tommy and them some of the features that was in there that's less known.
Hmm.
A couple of I wasn't even aware of that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like the nesting. I did a little video on it. Now that's the first stage of nesting. Eventually, he wants to have it hard coded into the application. Right now, it's using a third party API.
Yeah.
You know, IONest or whatever, but it still works. And you know, and it's wizardy, so it helps out. You know, and copies the link and that kind of stuff, so it's not so manual. He tries to make it as smooth of a workflow as possible, um, and that seems to work. But you know, there's a lot of that stuff in there that I haven't played with much. I have noticed that every once in a while, when people update or whatnot, I'm not sure exactly the circumstances behind it. It seems that the Z-axis controls get turned on inadvertently, and then all of a sudden your bed moves when you don't want it to, and things like that. Um, you know, so if something pops up in that respect, I hear about it. But a lot of the new features, even though I try to look at the changelog every once in a while, I have no idea what most of them are. So I'm a terrible beta tester. I'm more of a lurker. So
Lois has really got the whip cracking this week. Tommy's even working. Holy crap. That's a rarity.
Don't start with me.
You know it's
No,
coming.
the client's supposed to be coming to pick up that antique dresser or that sideboard or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
A
Um,
cyborg?
Okay, so the English language I struggle with at times. Give me a break.
So did it come out as good as it looked in the pictures?
Better.
Better.
The
That's just
orange oil was
that's magic,
fantastic.
isn't it? I told you, did it not shock you when you put it on there?
It did. And then the client was here looking at, I don't know, upwards of 300 flasks and plaques for his, I don't, some fraternity meet and greet. So that's what we're trying to wipe off, and because I went ahead and I make the rounds and then I spray them and clear coat them so that the soot and stuff just wipes off.
Hmm.
Yeah, on that orange oil, before she picks up, you might want to get one quick wipe down because it'll soak in those dry spots, just so that it's consistently even.
So I did it yesterday, and this morning I used this stuff on it.
Okay.
It's still the orange oil, but it has a little bit of beeswax and stuff in it, to try and give it a little bit extra, because I'm not sure how good they're going to be at maintaining it. But that's fine. I'll redo it for $400 every year, you know.
It was easy, $400, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, he sanded something, and yeah, he sanded something, and I did the rest of it pretty much. So.
Was you shocked? Was you shocked at how those drawers came out, the interior drawers, after you just put oil on them? The color of it
Yeah,
popped. I knew
yeah,
it would.
everything looked really, really good. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised and sad at the same time. I've got two pieces that were my grandmother's that I wish we had known. When did we get them? 2004
We were in New York.
or 2004. Yeah, 2004. I wish we'd have known all those tips and tricks, because we ended up stripping most of it and redoing it with who knows what, and some of it,
Poly shades.
yeah, poly shades. Some of it did not turn out well. Whatever had gotten in the wood on the dressing table, so the top of it. So there's places where the finish
Fisheye.
just didn't do anything. There's just like divots and holes where the finish did
Fisheye.
not want to stick.
Yep, it fisheye on you.
Yeah, so, but eventually, maybe one day, we will be able to redo it
I got
again.
another trick for you when you go to redo it. There's
Okay,
another trick you can do.
cool. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think I figured out it's a banquette, I think. I guess she's gonna put it in her daughter's room, but we'll see.
Cool.
She'll swap out and bring us the ice chest. So
The ice chest will be cake after you did that one because it's solid. It'll be cake.
yeah, exactly. No veneers or anything. So yay.
Sorry, Brian, for hijacking. That was a completely
Oh
different
no,
subject.
I was actually reading a ticket. Sorry.
But hey, I ate up.
I do have something when we talk about chillers.
Okay.
So we learned a valuable lesson. Well, you know, the other brand that I have that really shows up with a fish pump. We bought one of the 3000 chillers
Okay.
a year or so ago. Well, the fan literally come apart. The bearings in it that's attached to the radiator.
Hmm.
So I got to actually see what the inside of one of the chillers looks like. We just ordered what is it, a 5000 to replace it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it needed the 5200 since
Probably
it's a
not.
70 watt.
Yeah. Yeah. We only do the 5200s on our 130s. Everything else gets a 5000, except for the Mini 40. It gets, or the Mini 60, but it's a 40 watt. It gets a 3000. It gets one of the passives.
But
So.
I almost sent y'all a message just to figure out where I could get the fan instead of replacing the entire thing, and went, nope, never mind. Let me just replace the entire thing.
Smart move. You won't ever have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
So, but you could still get a fan for that thing, because I've got one sitting over here that I've really been thinking about putting my computer's water cooled, and I've really been thinking about using one of those instead of those ones that actually go inside to keep my computer cool. So you can use that if you happen to be into that kind of thing.
I know our son's gaming computer has 3 or 4 different fans on it.
Yeah, if it's water cooled, that thing right there will do what 10 of those onboard fans will do. And you can run the
No.
lines in another room and like have it in the closet so that it's not so noisy. So
Yeah,
you don't have.
it's not water cooled, but
No, but it's doing very well for his slicer programs and everything
Oh
else.
yeah.
The resin printers now.
But on your
Oh yeah.
resin printers, does this require any type of water? You just talking about some kind of a tub. Does that tub have to stay temperature controlled?
No, because it's well at the ambient air temperature
Oh, okay. So you would have
is
to
the
say,
only thing that concerns it, and then the rinse is isopropyl alcohol.
oh, okay. I was wondering if maybe you could readapt it for something for that, but I guess really not.
yeah. It's
No.
sitting outside getting rained on right now, so
You could use it up for your beer cooler and just hook it up to recirculate the water in your beer cooler.
I haven't had a beer in 6 months or more.
Oh. Now there goes that idea too.
But that was the thrill of the week. Oh, and then I had to also make some adaptations to the air system. I fixed that drip leg that we had a problem with finally running into the laser, and piped it back around into the main. So I've got 2 drip legs on it now that run into the main drain. If that makes sense.
So you're still getting water, I take it.
Well, the desiccant is starting to turn pink. Yes. The temperature around here, I've got to put an external fan in the small shed that the air compressor's in, just to help move air in and out of it.
Yeah, that's the problem with having external compressors. It's nice because you don't room, and it's nice because you don't have to listen to them. But you deal with temperature changes, fluctuations, especially in heat and humid climates. The thing just can't disperse its own heat.
Exactly. So
The only other way to do that is actually building a radiator inside that shed. Now, that could be a thing that you might be able to adapt that chiller for. And I don't know how it would work, but using it as a radiator of some sort to circulate. But that thing's just passive. It doesn't have it actually. Does it actually cool water on the 3000s?
no, it's got a fan built into onto the radiator, so there's no refrigerant or anything like that for it.
But I wondered how that would work cooling your compressor and or the lines coming before they come in to condense that water quicker.
I don't
I'm
know.
thinking it's redneckism. This is full blown redneckism going on in my head. I know Brian's wheels are spinning, going,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good use for those 3000s. They're not real high on my priority list either.
So at the time, and I guess we all learn as we go through this. You spend, $6,000 or $7,000 on a laser and go, okay, well, I need to make this upgrade, because the whole fish pump idea of water cooling it was just asinine.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know where that concept came from, but I'll walk away from that conversation right now with that.
Yeah,
So,
I know. I've run many times. They're yelling at the wife, "Go get me more ice bottles."
exactly.
Yeah.
So, we upgraded that to that 3000 chiller. Now, granted, we were just starting with the laser business, so money's always a little tight, things of that nature when you're first starting out. So you get what you can afford.
Sure.
And then, okay, well, let's add external air. There's another, several $100 and all the other stuff that goes with it. So, you wind up getting what you can get. And now I look at it going, no, let me get what I need. A wise person buys their tools only once.
should.
Should in the grand scheme of things. But now it's tweaks and everything else, and but it's looking to the future now. We want a fiber. It's just figuring out which one by the end of the year and which one we'll be able to afford, what's going to do the best for what we need. But then after last week's talking about the UV laser,
Yeah.
that kind of piqued my interest instead of a fiber.
Yeah, that'll do just about anything. That makes me wonder about what optics they use for it, because like on a CO2 galvo, they'd have to use zinc selenide for the lenses. So they couldn't use a glass lens like they do on the fiber lasers because it would burn it up. So on a UV laser, I wonder what the optics are like. I bet it's a different animal, but I would love to have one too.
I'm surprised Travis doesn't have one yet. As much stuff as he's got in that place.
Well, it might be one of those things where you wait a little while and let the technology advance on it a little bit.
Travis usually doesn't carry
Even though
his.
it's been around, it's been around longer than 5 or 6 years, but it's starting to come in the mainstream.
Yeah, but we all
become
know
affordable.
Travis. He just does stuff.
Yeah, but isn't it like 3 or 5 watts is like an incredible one or something like that? I think how that's kind of different about the
Yeah,
power
Jeremy
of
was
those things.
talking about it last week. Yeah, it was the wattage was like very low compared to what was very
Exactly.
high.
It was more like on a diode type level of wattage
Yeah.
versus.
Yeah, but not the speed.
No. Yeah, the
So
Galvo does that on the speed, so you get the best of both worlds.
it's all trying to figure out what's gonna benefit us in the long run, and we don't do the social media, we don't do the YouTube. I don't care about what's the word I'm looking for, influencers or whatever you want to call. Oh, that's a royal pain in the rear.
You just want to make cool stuff and sell it.
Pretty much, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
The only thing I think about UV though, with you, I know one of the directions you want to head in, but I don't think it will handle what at those levels you're wanting to go with the other part. That was the only thing I thought about it. With your FFL stuff,
Yeah,
I don't think that it will handle what you're wanting to do in that direction.
probably not. But then again, I think when you look at, yeah, we've already got one guy in town that does it with a fiber. Never to speak ill of anybody, so I won't, or other businesses, because I'm a firm believer in karma.
But knives and stuff like that, I don't know what the level that the UV goes with. I know some of the ways we've talked you're wanting to go. That's sort of what, yeah, the UV does so many other things, but where your guys' business structure is going, at times it makes me think the fiber would be better.
And I agree with you. But then again, when you made the comment, the way our business is going, our business is wound up in 30 different directions. And it's
We do cups now.
And toys.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you missed that the last couple of weeks, Brian. We've got 2 resin 3D printers now. My son's making minifigures.
Okay.
And he just made a mask from some video game. I don't know what it was, a dragon priest mask out of Skyrim. We just, printed it in 2 pieces and then had to pretty much weld it together with other resin and a UV flashlight and
Nice.
chest pieces and things like that. And again, we don't know what direction that we really want to go. I enjoy the furniture. She does the engraving, and hell, we're refinishing damn antiques now, or refurbishing, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Now find me a laser that'll do that easy, and then we'll talk.
Right.
Actually, there is lasers that will do stripping.
Shit. Of course there is.
Trust me, I've done looked and thought, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, little handheld jobs. They got them for metal too, where you can take rust off of metal and stuff.
You can strip an entire car with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've got them tuned down that you could do antiques with them. I've not seen where people are actually doing it.
Yeah. You might even branch off to like tattoo removal or something. You just wouldn't want to advertise that out loud very much.
No, not being outside a military installation. There's tattoo parlors on every other corner. There's more tattoo parlors than 7-Elevens.
I wish we had a 7-Eleven.
Actually, I think 7-Elevens are no more.
No, we've got them. I just got a delivery of some monsters from them last night.
Oh, I thought that they
Like
were
getting
bought out. I thought 7-Eleven got bought out.
Now I want a Sheets or a Wawa. That's what I want.
We got a Sheets here a couple months ago, and then the wife's like, "Well, they got food," and so I was like, "Yeah, go ahead and pick some up." She brought it home. I'm like, "Never buy food from there again."
Well, when you're done waiting tables and it's like midnight and you're really hungry and everything else is closed, it's great to
Taco-
go buy Sheets or something and grab something to eat.
That's what Taco Bell's for.
Yeah, but if you eat Taco Bells and Crystals every Saturday and Sunday and Friday nights, then you're not going to want to eat it anymore.
Yeah. Kentucky did get a Buc-ee's though, but we haven't been yet.
Yeah, Tennessee's getting one too. Not really close to me, and that's what everybody kept saying when you're going to take. Did you go to Buc-ee's? My daughter went to Dallas a couple weeks ago, and I think just specifically to go to a Buc-ee's, but they're like it's the best barbecue, and I didn't try the what are they called, beaver nuggets or something.
So I used to trap for a while, and we might want to watch that one. I don't know that I could eat something called beaver nuggets.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
I can't, I've got to. I'm gonna go get me a soda.
God.
His brain is in overload.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of hours from us. So unless we're going that way for something else, I see no point. Although apparently it is like it can take all day. I don't know.
Yeah, enough people talk about it. There's got to be something going on over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think his head was about to explode.
Yeah. There was going to be far too many things coming out of his mouth.
That's
What are the
funny.
rounds in the back, Lois?
Huh?
What are the rounds things in the back? What did y'all do?
So those are mini barrel heads that we make. It's almost impossible to source. We're in bourbon country, so we can get tons of full-size barrel heads. But sometimes people want smaller ones, especially on post, or people that are traveling. You can't fit a full-size barrel head in your luggage. So they like these ones that Tommy makes out of oak, same material, shapes them so that they look just like a regular barrel lid. But then it fits in the luggage or whatever. We actually make those for someone else. But the gentleman that was here earlier is probably going to be purchasing some. So we're actually going to have to make some for ourselves. He's with a fraternity and it looks like there's, oh, yummy.
What was that?
The beaver nuggets.
Oh.
So it looks like there's going to be hopefully quite a few things that we'll be doing for his organization and a trip that they do every year. They like to hand out gifts and stuff as part of this trip. So yeah, we were just showing him all the different things that we can do. So fingers crossed it goes well.
Good.
Cool.
Rand's now just even trying to antagonize me with even hitting the mute button.
So, but you can kind of see the edges.
Oh yeah.
Bourbon barrels are chamfered. One side's got a steeper chamfer than the other.
So we got a 45 and a 33 on there.
I don't know what the barrels are. I just run 245s.
Oh, okay.
They're not that particular, the people that get them. It looks close enough. Some people like the barrel lids. Other places sell them, and they're brand spanking new. They have never, ever been used. There's no char. There's no wax. There's nothing, and people still think it's great.
Mhm.
If I'm going to have one, I want it to be one that was actually on a barrel and smells like bourbon.
Oh, awesome.
I love how she's covering up the middle.
Part of the name anyway.
So that's a full lid. These are tables,
Cool.
or short tables. I hate working with bourbon barrels.
So that one's 2 lids, so the top and then the shelf, and then staves for the legs. So those are short, so he has to cut them. But some people, and we also do where it's a full size, full length stave, and then it's kind of like a little pub table. And then he takes the barrel rings and cuts them to length and stuff to fit back around. Everybody does them a little bit different, and everybody does them around here. So
Yeah. Cool. That's neat stuff.
like all these folks down in Texas doing all the barrel stuff, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And I'm like, when you see it everywhere, it kind of loses the fascination. It's not special anymore.
Like
Now-
eating steak every day.
See, Brian, now you're sort of getting a taste of what the after show is typically like. This is more or less what the after show ends up being. It's
Gotcha.
sort of a show and
Right.
tell, and we just go all over the place, and then it becomes, sometimes it is all laser. Like last week, even after I shut the recording off, it went into more laser stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it did. It did.
So we bounce all over, and sometimes then it's just talking business, and then other times I get nailed with antique or woodworking questions.
Yeah, or it's other hobby questions, or
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago it was like an hour, almost 2 hours of 3D printers.
Yeah.
Talk.
yeah.
And I just sat there because I'm like, yep, I know nothing.
Yeah. I don't either. I've had a bunch of them, but other than making a benchy, or the calibration square, I haven't gone much further than that on any of them. So that's
I
kind
need
of
to
the way
get
my
one.
lasers are too. So
Is it Kentucky or Tennessee that has more barrels, whiskey barrels, than they have people? One of the
Kentucky.
states.
It should be Kentucky.
Probably
think I've-
Kentucky.
I don't know. There are a dime a dozen around here. I mean, I get pallets of staves and pallets of lids, and
we literally, like, if you know somebody in Kentucky, especially in this area, everybody's got pieces of barrels laying in their yard too. It's just normal.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to get my butt down there.
I got so tired of having full barrels, I just cut one in half and used them for planters. I think we've got herbs in one and some beets, some other flowers.
And the other one. People use, some of the
Right.
folks that work at the distilleries actually get bits and pieces that can't be used for anything else, and they use it in their fire pits.
We had a client, I don't know, back at the beginning of the year, wanted a flag made out of staves. And she's like, well, it's somebody retiring from this distillery, so they want one of their own barrels. They poured the barrel, and then she put it in the back of her truck and drove it to us.
They empty.
So have you ever tried to use them in your smoker?
I've got a pellet grill, so no, but I throw them in the burn pit all the time.
I was just thinking with that bourbon infused in there and stuff with the smell of the oak.
You can get those pellets that have that too. You got to watch out and be sure you get the real ones. But like I got some the other night that were wine barrels and made for the pellet grill, and you could tell, but it was kind of the same thing. I think they make whiskey barrel ones too.
They do. I've gotten Jack Daniels ones that were at the store just to try. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
Not worth any extra.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the extra money.
Yeah, I like the pellet grill though because there's hardly no waste, and it's hard for me to burn stuff now.
You throw a brisket on there and you don't have to do anything. You throw a set of ribs on there, you don't have to do anything.
But you put burgers and you catch it on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you got to have that up to sear. I mean, you got to spin that knob all the way to 450 on the steaks and burgers.
And I do my steaks at like 300.
Yeah.
What
I send them over
kind
to
of grill are you using? What kind of grill are you using that only gets to 450?
Well, it'll get higher than that. I think it'll go 500 is what on the adjustment there is. But it's forced induction. It uses those pellets.
Yeah, no,
So
I've got a pellet pooper. Mine goes up to 1,000.
it does.
Jesus.
Well, it's just because it's that cold, it'll actually never get that hot though, right?
If I throw a welding blanket on it, will.
So you set it for 1,000 and hope for 500.
Yeah.
The crappy sheet metal won't hold that temperature.
Oh, mine's not sheet metal. Mine's was it like 125 steel.
Okay.
Yeah, no, mine's I have a competition smoker. It's made by Rectech.
Of course you did.
Well, that's why.
I was gonna say, what did I say earlier?
But
Exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't have a UV printer yet. And he's like, well, maybe Travis is waiting for it. I was like, Travis doesn't wait. Travis just gets.
no, I've got a UV flatbed.
Not a UV laser.
Oh, a UV laser. I'm not sold on those yet.
Oh, Brian, don't forget to make me organizer before you jump.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's 355. I'm gonna have to jump.
So Travis, whatever happened with that auction?
Which one? The one with that giant whatever it was.
Jointer or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.